Hi, this is your 5.3 Ready, Set, Go intro. So we are going to go over this so that you have an understanding of what we are doing in our 5.3 Ready, Set, Go. We're going to start with our Ready. You're going to have 4 problems in your Ready, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is where they're trying to find out if these points satisfy not just one but both equations. So as we're going through this, you are going to plug these into your x's and your y's, and if it satisfies the first one, then you move on to the second one to see if it satisfies the second one. So once again, this right here is your x, this one right here is your y. In your ordered pair, x comes first, so I'm going to plug -2 in for x, and I'm going to plug 5 in for the y, and I'm going to rewrite my problem. So I am going to have 5 equals 2, but instead of the x, I'm going to say times a -2 minus 3. Order of operations says that I'm going to do the multiplication first. So I have 5 equals -4 minus 3. A -4 and a -3 makes it -7. So I have 5 equals -7. That does not work. Since it doesn't satisfy the first one, then it is not going to satisfy both of them. So we can just move on. I go to the next one. I'm going to do the same thing. Plug in 2 for my x and 1 for my y. So I'm going to have 1 equals 2 times 2 minus 3. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 does equal 1. So this one does satisfy this first equation. Now it has to satisfy both. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug this one into the second equation. So I'm going to take this 1 and plug it in for y equals. I have a negative sign, and instead of the x, I'm going to plug in the 2 plus 3. A -2 and a +3. If you owe me $2, but you have 3, you are now going to just have $1 left. 1 does equal 1, so this one does satisfy both equations. I'm going to go ahead and plug in this last one and see if it works. If I plug it in here, 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 3 is 5. That did work. I'm going to then go ahead and see if it satisfies the next one. I'm going to plug the 4 in here. -4 plus 3 is a -1. -1 is not the same as -5. So that does not work. So the solution that satisfies both is B. You're going to go ahead and do that for 2, 3, and 4. Moving down here to the set, it says that you're going to graph the following equation. This is in standard form. So if you've watched those videos, you'll notice that when the x and the y are on the same side, it's standard form. When it's in the form of y equals mx plus b, that's what it was in slope-intercept form, but we are going to be working in standard form. In order to graph standard form, we are going to find our x-intercept and our y-intercept. Remember, when it is the y-intercept, it is when the x does not go left or right. It is when the x is 0, we are looking for what the y is. Okay, and that's going to be my x-intercept or my y-intercept. My x-intercept, it's going to cross somewhere on the x, but it's not going to go up or down. So my x-intercept is going to be when I'm looking for my x, but I know that my y is going to be 0. It's not going to go up or down. Now, if I know one of my points, I can find the other by plugging it in. So if I'm looking for my y-intercept, I'm going to plug 0 in for x. And I'm going to write that problem. I'm going to say 5 times 0 when x is 0, minus 2y's is 10. Well, 5 times 0, that becomes a 0. So I just have -2y's is 10. If I divide by a -2, I have y is -5. So when x was 0, the y that is paired with it is -5. And I can graph that. I can find that intercept when x is 0, y is -1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 1 point. I need 2 in order to be able to graph. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to go find my x-intercept. And I know it's going to cross my x when it doesn't go up or down. So I know that my y is going to be 0. So I'm just going to plug 0 in for y to find the x that goes with it. So I'm going to rewrite this problem. I have 5x minus 2 times 0 is 10. Well, -2 times 0 is still 0, so I'm left with 5 x's is 10. So I divide both sides by 5. I get x is 2. So If x is 2 when y is 0, I can write that as an ordered pair, 2, comma, 0. I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. X is 2 when y is 0. Once I have 2 points, I can make my line. It goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for every 2, 5 for every 2. Okay, so it's going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 2. Okay, that's how you're going to do number 6, 7, and 8. You're going to find the intercepts. All right. For your go, it's just asking you to recall how to add fractions. Remember, when you are adding or subtracting fractions, you need to have a common denominator. The lowest common denominator here would be 8. So I'm going to turn this 4 into an 8 by multiplying by 2 over 2. Remember, I can do that because 2 over 2 is an equivalent to 1. And when I change something to 1, or multiply by 1, I'm not changing its value. So 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. And then I have a 1/8 that I'm adding it to. When I'm adding my fractions, I just add my numerator, which gives me 7/8. The denominator stays the same. It says that I can leave it as an improper fraction. So if this was 17/8 or 12/8 or 13/8, I could have just left it like that. I can leave it as an improper fraction. But I do need to reduce it to simplest form. Okay, so that's what you're going to do for 10, 11, and 12. For number 13, you're going to multiply. Again, you can leave it as an improper fraction, but you do need to simplify or reduce. So as you recall, when we multiply fractions, we just multiply straight across. 3 times 2 is 6. 9 times 4 is 36. I can leave it like that. If it was an improper, it's not, but I need to reduce it to simplest form. So 6/36 is equivalent to 1/6. There's my answer. And I'm going to do that for 14, 15, and 16. I hope this gets you a good start on your Ready, Set, Go. Have a good week.